6 o'clock.
Well, the official township clock says 6 o'clock. Let's call this June 16th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals together and get to business. First order of business is to approve the agenda for this evening. Are there any additions, modifications that we should be aware of? I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Motion by Robin. Support? Support by Coster. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Unopposed. So, moving on, we have the minutes from the March 17th, 2026 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Is there any motion to approve those conditioned to any modifications or grammatical corrections?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Coleman, support by Mike Tartwater. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Moving on to the public comments portion of the agenda. This is where we open up the meeting to the public for anything that's not listed on the agenda. If you're here for the public hearing for the 5480 West River Drive topic, hold those thoughts until then. If there's something else you would like to speak on, you're more than welcome to step up and say your piece. Hearing none, we'll close the public comments portion of the meeting and move on to item 5, agenda items. Carl, we have a variance in our request. Could you read the application, please, sir?
Applicant Brandon Barr, Community Automotive Repair, project address 5480 West River Drive, permanent parcel number 411020403009, size of site approximately 1.77 acres, zoning I industrial, zoning ordinance section 31.113 variance requests. Action requested of the ZBA. The applicant has requested multiple variances to permit a 105 square foot, 19.2 foot tall pylon sign where a 32 foot square foot, 6 foot tall ground mounted sign is permitted.
Thank you, Carl. As this is a public hearing, we'd like to have the applicant or the representative speak to this before we open it up to the public and allow the presentation to occur. Is there someone here from the applicant's side who would like to present to us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address, and the microphone is yours.
Brandon Barr with Community Automotive Repair, talking about 5480 West River Drive.
Is your microphone on, sir? Is the little green light illuminated?
There you go. All right, Brandon Barr with Community Automotive Repair, talking about the address of 5480 West River Drive on a sign ordinance and a variance that we're requesting. We have another shop on Fulton Street. We've been in business for 51 years, and we have found this community to be very supportive. However, many people are driving by us because of where we're at on the road. And we're industrial zoned. Around us, there's been a couple other signs that are larger, Criterion next door, and then just to the east of us, Champion Dye as well. And seeing that customers are kind of complaining that they keep driving by us and can't find our driveway, we felt the need to get a much larger sign and to be incongruent with our branding as well. I know you guys probably don't care much about our branding. It's more about the ordinances and rules behind the Comstock Park and Plainfield Township. However, the road location when you're traveling west has a slight curve in it and a slight increase in the undulation in the road. So it's difficult to find us right away on your left-hand side when you're coming through that area. And it's increased in speed of 55 compared to where the ordinance might be speaking more towards the downtown portion of Comstock Park, where you're going 35, maybe 25 through there, where we're at is 55. So the speed becomes a barrier for us as well. The other thing that's kind of interesting about our rental building that we're in. We're renting, and it's quite set back from the road compared to other buildings. Even when you look at our two neighbors, they're set up just slightly more than we are, and we've kind of got a decline in our driveway, so it's very difficult to see our building. That's about it. So we're looking for a larger sign.
Thank you. Given your comments, we will now open the public hearing. Any members from the public wishing to address the issue at hand are welcome to step to the microphone. State your name and address, and we will entertain your thoughts and comments.
Nancy Couturier and Magnum Powder Coating next door. We've just been extremely busy, so we have not been able to look into this further, so that's why we're here tonight. We're not necessarily opposed to this, but Steve was in a very serious car accident on West River Drive, head-on collision, and yes, you are right, they go 55 plus. And to this day, there's, lots of medical issues, so we want to make sure that we're all safe. So when we're at 5500 West River Drive, Magnum Powder Coating, and when our trucks are there or our team members, all of us actually, when we are coming and going, we want to make sure that our site is going to be adequate. In and out, yeah, and the truck drivers are about 5 to 7 feet off the ground, so we just want to make sure that it's going to be adequate for, for safety. And that's it. really.
Because it is on a turn, and when we're at, that sign would actually be in front of our building. Not saying that I don't want it, but, it's right there. We almost gotta look, if that's the way the sign is gonna be. I'm just worried about how far it's gonna be up in front of our driveway because of the curve there. It brings that sign out further than what our driveway is, that's all.
Yeah,
So I
just want to
just
see
safety,
it.
that's
Just want
all.
to see more
Yeah, just wanna
about
see
it,
what's-
so.
We don't oppose it, we just,
Yeah, we want to know that our people are going to be safe coming in and out. Because the owner of our building, when we purchased, Wesley Freeman, I think, I don't know if they're all recorded, but he was in several accidents at that driveway because of the curve and the hill and, just being on that slight curve, east to west, or west to northeast. So, yeah, we just want to be safe. That's it.
Thank you. Other members of the public wishing to speak?
Can I comment to that?
This is not a dialogue.
I just had something to add to the height of where the site is.
It is stated in the application.
Okay, great.
Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Normally, we allow staff to weigh in on this at this point and run through any of their findings that they need to apprise us of. Do you care to do that, Elizabeth? It's a pretty straightforward item, but
It is, yeah, but the site itself is tricky. There is a steep grade down to the building, as well as the curve in West River. So the site itself, I think, does warrant some consideration for potentially a slightly larger sign or taller sign, where it's, feasible on site. So that does kind of represent that practical difficulty piece. However, variances do tend to need to be kind of the least variance needed to achieve that ordinance intent of, a visible sign. And this sign seems to be significantly larger and taller than is necessary to grab the public's attention as they're driving by. So we did do a full kind of report of the practical difficulties. Let me know if you have any questions on that. We drafted a motion to deny as well as a motion to approve a lesser variance if you're so inclined. Definitely not anything you have to do. But if, that is something in the course of your discussion you'd like to do, that is an option. You just can't grant larger. You can always grant smaller than is requested. So that's all I have.
Thank you for the concise summary, Elizabeth. Mike, do you have any comments, questions, or concerns?
Just a couple of quick comments, looking through the different variances requested. I think Elizabeth summed it up well with some of the site challenges. You know, the sign does appear to be pretty significantly beyond what's allowed. I think I could maybe be persuaded to consider, you know, a height variance that accommodated the grade change from the road, you know, to meet the intent. But otherwise, I don't know that I can support this as currently proposed.
Thank you, Mike. Carl?
This is an existing business, I take it? Yes. How long have you been there?
2 years almost.
I would take it it's a successful business?
Yes.
Okay. Elizabeth, in the narrative from the applicant, he referenced two signs in the very close neighborhood. To your knowledge, do either of those have a variance?
I looked into it. They don't. Criterion has a larger pole sign. I did a rough measurement. It's about 60 square feet. And pole signs used to be permitted by right in industrial, which is why you see a lot of them up and down West River. We've been moving away from pylon signs in all of our zoning districts. They tend to be an eyesore and deteriorate over time, which is why the township has moved towards ground-mounted signs.
But as far as you know, there are no variances for any of those signs.
Not the immediate signs. There are a few up and down West River from decades ago, but nothing immediately adjacent.
Okay. I'm in agreement with my fellow representative. I think with a grade change, a height variance is reasonable to consider, but the size of the sign, to me, is much, much larger than it necessarily has to be. And its location, I could go either way, but I think the size of the sign, its location, to me, make me want to say negative to this variance request.
Thank you, Carl. Robin?
Thank you, Kirk. Having gone through this process over the past several years, one thing I've noticed about zoning ordinances is that they always, once changed ordinances, are concerned about what happens in the future and not what has happened in the past. So, you know, we don't go back and cure signs that are not within the current statement of the ordinance, which I think is interesting because it's a conundrum because, well, they're doing it and why can't we, kind of a deal. But that's not an argument that can support how we support ordinances. The second thing is that in somewhat of a commercial use of property that is zoned industrial, where you have customers, clients coming in and out on much more of a basis than you would if you were just purely in industrial use, that's what kind of drives your need to be seen and to be noticed and whatnot. So there's kind of two things that are playing against the middle on that. However, it is an industrial zoned area, and we do have requirements for the size of the signs for very specific reasons. I just came back from Florida a couple days ago, and you have a 900 to 1,000 square foot building with a 1,500 square foot sign above it and bright lights and flashing things and whatnot. And that's not where Plainfield wants to be. So for that reason, and without some remorse, I cannot support this request.
Thank you, Robin. Thomas?
Just a couple things from my observation. When I visited the site and took a look at what you have, I guess I wanted, with some improvements to what you have, I don't know why that wouldn't suffice, but having said that, I think Elizabeth told me it's too close to property line as it currently exists.
Yes, to be any taller than 4 feet, it would have to be set back further from the road,
And how far would that be, do you know?
10 feet back from the road right of way.
Okay, so I, just off the top of my head, having been there, I don't think the grade does go down as you go towards your building. I'll give you that. But a 10-foot move there probably wouldn't be that significant of a grade impact to warrant a 20-foot tall sign. So I hear you about Criterion and other businesses that have pole signs there. Those are old and things we don't necessarily want in today's world. There are other businesses in that stretch that have the signs that conform to our current policy. So, those are, don't appear to be a problem for people driving down West River. I'll give you that. Absolutely nobody goes 55. That's only a suggestion in today's world. So I agree with my fellow board members here. I can't see us approving something like this, but is there room to improve what you have? Absolutely. But I don't want to be the coach on that. Thank you.
Thomas? Thank you, fellow board members, for your thoughts and comments. You do understand that we have a very specific role to fulfill here in evaluating the 5 findings of fact in our interpretation of the ordinance with respect to those, so that if this zoning variance were issued, it runs with the land in perpetuity regardless of the building owner or potential copy on the future sign. In looking at the 5 findings of fact as presented, I too fall in line with, I don't think that it raises to the level where a reasonable interpretation by me could create a motion to support this variance. There are some suggestions that those in the business, I'm sure, can provide to improve the visibility for it. That we'll rely on those experts for that, but we have our rules to follow, and I don't feel that they're out of line as evidenced by what's currently being developed out there. You do have a very valid point about the speeds on West River Drive. The only people that can affect that are the people that are behind the wheels going through there. I've gone through there a few times. I'm not saying that I may or may not have exceeded that myself, just trying not to be a hazard myself. Hearing our comments, I'll entertain a motion from any of the board members to address the variance request we have in our hands.
I move the Zoning Board of Appeals deny the request for a sign type variance from section 31.11 of the zoning ordinance to permit a pylon sign instead of the required ground-mounted sign. Deny the request for a 73 square foot variance from section 331.11 of the zoning ordinance to permit a 105 square foot sign area. Deny the request for a 14-foot variance from section 31.11 of the zoning ordinance to permit a 20-foot tall sign. Based on the following findings of fact, the requested sign variances significantly exceed what is necessary to overcome grade changes. 2, granting the variances as proposed would not provide substantial justice to the property owner or adjacent property owners. 3, the proposed variances would not be in character with the intent of the zoning ordinance. 4, this denial is supported by those reasons set forth by the members of the Zoning Board of Appeals as reflected in the entire record of this matter, including the meeting minutes.
We have the motion. We have support. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, none. The variance as requested has been denied. That concludes item 5A on the agenda, bringing us to item 6, staff comments. Elizabeth, do you have anything for us?
I have nothing for you.
What's the word on the street from our residents with the progress being made on the non-motorized facilities in the community? Are you hearing anything, or is that being fielded mostly by Parks Department, County Road Commission?
Yeah, are you talking about the Rogue River Bridge improvements and things like
That's
that?
just one of them.
Yep, yep. I mean, people are excited about them. People directly affected by the construction have been calling a little bit upset about a few things, but overall, very positive from the community. Really excited about that.
Good,
Yeah.
good, thank you. We have the LPGA coming up this week. We'll see what type of spotlight that shines on the community with all of the work going on real close by. Can you see it from your house, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Every day.
It could be mining aggregate there. So, concluding staff comments, ZBA members. Thomas, anything for us, sir?
Well, you already touched on it. It's a busy week here. Traffic is a nightmare everywhere, so I know there's not very many people here, but take a couple extra patience pills and follow the taillights in front of you. LPGA week, let's just hope we don't get too much of a washout.
Well, we're dodging them right now.
Yeah, I know, I know, I know. So other than that, no, I'm good. Thank you.
Robin?
I did miss one thing before I started to speak before. Thank you for coming to Plainfield Township, for bringing your business. We appreciate that. I know that sometimes the rules are a little bit more constrictive than could be understood, but it has taken a long road to get to where we are. But we do appreciate you here, and we hope to support you. Thank you.
Amen. Well said. Carl,
No comment.
are you feeling okay?
No.
Mike?
I don't have any additional comments.
Well, thank you very much. Having heard all I have to say of any value, let's adjourn at 6:25.